Welcome to Rick Drasin Live, or should I say Rick's Corner Live, one and the same. I'm bringing a subject today called carpal tunnel. I've had it for maybe 3 years, and I've talked to so many people that suffer with this thing and they don't know what to do about it. And then I've talked to people who had surgeries that said it works wonders. Years ago, the surgeries were kind of barbaric. They cut your whole wrist open. It was all scarred up, and there were repercussions from having it. So for the past 3 years, I've had numbness in my thumb, my forefinger, and my middle finger to the point of where it would just tingle all the time, burn. I couldn't hold a fork. I had a hard time holding a glass. Typing was really hard. Playing my guitar, I used a thumb pick. It just got to a point where I was using my left hand for everything all the time, and it was very, very frustrating. I scheduled 2 appointments with 2 doctors, and they said, we're going to put you to sleep and do your wrist. I said, why are you going to go to sleep and do my wrist? It's basically a 7-minute surgery. So I found one, Dr. Mark McHale over in Burbank, who I just really liked. I went to him for several things, and he says, I can do this with a local. This is like 2 weeks ago. I said, if you can do it with a local, then I'll do it. I don't want to be put out. I just want to be numbed and sent along my way. Well, like I say, it's gotten to the point where even eating popcorn at the movies, most of the popcorn's falling on my lap. When I got up from the chair, it looked like it fell through my butt because I had popcorn more on a chair than I had in my mouth. And to go out to eat and dropping forks and dropping pens and dropping glasses, it's like, man, I got to get this taken care of. So it's not as bad as you think. I made the appointment. I went this morning at like 11:45, a surgical center. I have photos, but I can't post them on here because they won't go with the video. And they put me into an operating room, just like they do with the gown and the hat to cover your hair, which I thought was silly. Cover your shoes. It's all got to be sterile. And he numbed it with lidocaine, several spots, and I put my arm out. And I watched it. He let me watch. Normally they don't. He says, normally I put people out. He says, but I know you have a high tolerance for pain. It doesn't bother you. So you can watch this from wrestling. I mean, you've had tons of injuries. So I did. I watched it as they cut my palm of my hand open, and then they spread it with a spreader so that it opens way up, and they reach down inside with scissors and a knife, and they cut the tendon that goes across your nerves, the carpal tunnel tendon. What that does is it alleviates the pressure on the nerves so that you can use your hand, because what happens with this thing, it gets tight and it leans on your nerves and it compresses it, and your nerves get damaged. In fact, sometimes the nerves don't even come back even after the surgery. It may or may not, but at least the burning sensation and the tingling will be gone. So I was in there and I'm joking around with him the whole time because that's what I do. It makes it fun for everybody. He cut it, he stitched it, he wrapped it up and gave me a hug and sent me to lunch. That's how easy it was for me. Now, I don't say it's easy for everybody because everybody has a different pain threshold and they get nauseated if they have to look at it, but you don't have to look at it. But I wanted to see how they did it. So my suggestion, if you do suffer from this, I've tried everything. I've had cortisone shots probably 3 or 4 times in my wrist. I had prototherapy, and I watched it on the ultrasound where they blow the tissue away around the nerve to open the nerve up so it can breathe. And that worked for a short time, but not for a long time. The cortisone never really did anything. I tried ice. You name it, I tried it. Surgery was the last result, or last resort, I might say. So I did it. It's been 3 hours. I have no pain. I'm going to ice a little bit, maybe a little sore, not really. And then I take tomorrow the bike in the gym, and then probably Friday legs. And then Saturday, I found ways of doing some things that I can do without using the palm of my hand, because you can't put the pressure here. This is where they cut it. They cut it straight down, and they open it, and they snip the tendon, and then they sew it back up. So right here are where my stitches are. 3 days I can wash my hands and put a Band-Aid on, I'll be good as new. And then it takes about a week or 2 to actually heal up. But there's things you can do in the gym around this. If you want to, if you decide to do this, you can use a rope and use your fingers here. You can use straps in your hands for curls or tricep. You can do a pec deck with your elbows. Actually do laterals on the shoulder machine. You can do laterals with dumbbells because you hold them in your fingers, not your palm. But you experiment around, you find things that work. And here's my theory, that if you sit around and do nothing, you're going to get bored, you're going to get depressed, and it's no fun. I have always found a way through injuries to do stuff. I go in, I try different things. Mentally, I feel better. Physically, I feel better, and I walk away happy. So it's not a matter of ego or trying to be, not lose your muscle. It's just a matter of trying to stay healthy and have a good attitude. So if any of you suffer from this carpal tunnel, it's definitely something to look into. The doctor's name is Mark McHale. He's on Alameda in Burbank. There's a center right across from St. Joe's Hospital. And he's a good man. He does exactly what I want. He works with me. He doesn't make me do things I don't want to do. They wanted to put a tent up so I can't see it, and I thought, I get claustrophobic. I don't want that. I wanted to sit up. I didn't want to lay back, so they propped me up. They were really good to work with me. Now we're going to see what's going to happen in the next few days and the next few weeks. If the nerve comes back, it should come back somewhat. It may not be 100%, but even if it comes back a little and I get rid of the tingling, I'm happy to go. He said the tingling and burning goes away within 24 hours. So I got 22 hours left. So if you have a problem with carpal tunnel, this is something you want to check out. Don't keep it. Get rid of it. Do something about it. And I have some questions on here. Well, I thought I had some questions. No, they're just a bunch of comments. All right, if you have any, you can write them in. But when you have injuries, and I've said this before, whether it be this or shoulder or knee or whatever, you can always find a way to work around something. You know, I had a hernia surgery maybe several years ago on my belly button, starting to look like a doorknob. I go to a doctor, and he looks at me, and his wife happened to be a competitive bodybuilder. So he knew right away who I was and what I was doing. I said, doctor, I don't want to. Their nurse says I need 2 months off from the gym. That's impossible. I can't do that. He said, look, you know how to work out. You know what hurts, what doesn't hurt. Go back in, give it a week, and do what doesn't hurt. If it hurts, don't do it. You know your body better than anybody. So I was back in a week doing all kinds of things. I wore a lifting belt. Never bothered my hernia. It healed up, and it's been fine ever since. So when you have injuries like that, there's ways to work around it. Don't get depressed thinking you can't train or you can't stay healthy. Actually, getting to the gym keeps you healthier in moderation, and your nutrition will help as well. All right, so that's my theory on the carpal tunnel. I thought maybe I'd get some questions here, but someone wrote in, are you able to do squats with your new knee? Yeah, man, I can do squats. This knee is like Superman. It's stronger than my other leg. When I get out of my car, my leg takes off before I do. This new knee was really, really a thing that helped me a lot. I've had no pain since the second week of that surgery. I've been doing leg squats ever since. I can do stairs, not a problem. It was a really good idea to get this thing done. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. Anyway, watch this, see what you think. If you have carpal tunnel, like I said, go see Dr. Mark McHale in Burbank. The guy's a great guy. He'll take care of you. And I'm happy that I did this. Now I'm going to be bionic in the hand, not only the knee. Thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.
It's RickDrasin.com. He is the equalizer, baby. See you next time.